Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Subnautica. And I'm not sure where our little buddies have gone, and maybe to spread their curing enzymes to the rest of the planet. Well, I wish them well. Last time we were able to grant the Sea Emperor's wish, allowing her young to hatch, and essentially freeing her from the curse of having to live in captivity for 1,000 years. In the process, being given willingly what the aliens couldn't extract with all their science, and I don't know, I'm just like... It feels like we've become one with this world, which I guess is always the final goal of any survival game, but now we've accomplished it literally. Unfortunately, it was the last thing she ever did, but I do think she was at peace with that, and had been waiting for it for a long time. Which means now all that's left to do is for us to leave. But we don't have to do that right away, do we? I mean, hey, we do have this build habitat thing. Why don't we build ourselves a habitat in the morning after we get some sleep? Before we can do that, though, there's a couple of things we're gonna have to do. There are objectives still to be completed, remember, and we can't go anywhere until the automated security system on this planet knows that there's no threat of this bacterium leaving. For most of the game, that threat has been us. It's been a long time coming. Now give me my prize. Alright, I hate this part. I'd forgotten about this. We're gonna have to give a sample, aren't we? You actually... you have a different animation because you were anticipating it. That's hilarious. What's happening? Oh, if these devs made a horror game, I suppose some could argue we're playing it. Is that it? Does this mean the facility is powered down now, that the cannon is deactivated? And more importantly, what would happen if we tried to build the launch ship without deactivating it? I mean, I guess we saw twice what would happen. But still, it's kind of funny, isn't it? These aliens perished or were forced to flee because they fought against nature rather than try to work with it. And, well, in the end, they became part of that nature, made it even more hostile than the world they left. This planet destroys everything that comes here. Which actually reminds me of something I was reading about in between the last part and this one. Bart Torgal, right? The Degassi survivor from a decade ago. He talked about how the visions were getting worse, the hallucinations. Maybe he was being contacted by the Sea Emperor? Meaning that maybe he could have been saved, maybe his whole crew could have been saved if they'd only listened to them. Oh wow, it's actually gone to like a dormant state. There is one other thing that I was waiting for the entire game, because I remember it from my original playthrough years ago, and we never got around to it, and it would be kind of... it just wouldn't be right to do it now. But I thought I had remembered a unique egg that could hatch, and I found out it is. It's called the Cuttlefish, and it's basically like an adorable little squid thing, and I remember you can't take it with you. It even has a little button to pet it, but once you go to launch and take off, it actually has like a sad little like goodbye animation that you can do where you pet it for one last time before leaving. That was freaking heartbreaking when I played this years ago, and part of me is kinda glad that we didn't do that in this. I think there are 5 different eggs I read that you can find around the map. I also remember reading somewhere that even though it's at a depth of nearly 1,600 meters, the sea moth can enter the Sea Emperor's pool, but it counts as its own thing. We're gonna save and try it, just so that we have our chance. We don't seem to be crushing. So that's nice. Look at you, Liberty. Going where no sea moth has gone before. Look at you. And you still won't give us the scan. In fact, we can't even get close. Well, rest well. Meanwhile, we've got to use the portals that this place has given us to retrieve our stuff and bring it back to the surface. And use it for land development.
Warning, maximum depth reached.
Uh-oh. You started crushing when we got closer to the top of the chamber. That's kind of strange. Why did that happen? Well, we can give you a quick repair. Maybe it's just like a weird thing with the way the boxes work. Like, maybe the game designates zones, and this is considered like a unique spot, but up here is not. Let's just grab some of these ion cubes for in case we need them. And actually first, I think we need to revisit the island outpost. Oh. You're just beginning generation again, right here on the fly. Okay, we can't see how far along you are, but yeah, presumably you'll just endlessly respawn those ion cubes from thermal energy. I mean, one more reason not to seek rescue. Alterra finding out about this place would be awful. I mean, all this technology, all these resources for them to exploit? Oh, wow. I'm so used to using the prawn in deep caves that, I realize now I never really had the opportunity to try it out in the open ocean. Ooh. But I'm coming here, back to the island outpost, because I was reading that I should actually check out the Degassi Hab down in this biome again, that I may have missed something extremely important to recent discoveries. It's gonna be a fox, hen, and feed situation all over again, trying to get everything back up here, just like it was getting them down. But I think we're gonna need the whole crew to make all this work. Down we go. Oh my. It's at times like this that I realize that I spent way too much time in this game with my eye on the ball, so to speak. It's just such a pretty game, and even though, oops, I'm sorry, even though I spent a lot of time smelling the roses, I just can't help but feel like I could have done more. And the prawn is certainly the right vehicle for that, isn't it? I mean, it's like your own sealed little safety bubble, you know? Infinite air, good energy. Nothing can really hurt you. It's got like the most health of anything in the game. And it's just like your safe little viewport to the deepest depths imaginable. And this is what the game is really about. It's why I find undersea travel so fascinating. It's like the ultimate safety bubble. It's such an inhospitable environment, but one that's so pretty. And when you can just stroll through it while still acknowledging the danger, it's just like a warm blanket feeling. Leave me alone. Oh no, you're here. That's actually an issue. Hang on. I saved this place, so I get to do stuff like this. Wow, that didn't really affect this thing too much. Well, let's get inside. Oh, wait. Oh, wait! Have I never been here? I thought this was the... Yeah, no, this is the 500-meter Degassi Hab. Did I never go upstairs? Oh, I must have been distracted by lack of air. Okay, well, here we are now. And we cannot take your alcohol with us. Ooh, starfish creatures or some kind of weird barnacle. Wait, no wonder I never did it. How do I actually get up from here? This chamber is sealed off. This is where I was. I don't see ladders anywhere. Oh, I must have to climb in upstairs. Over here, maybe? Oh, this hatch is open. And we can fit, thank you. Oh, the irony of an empty tank surrounded by water on the outside as well. Cyclops shield generator. Well, we already have it, but I'll take your titanium. Oh, we've actually got to swim down from here. Now we've got ladders.
I have had it with you, risking our lives.
Oh, stow it, Chief. The kid can't kill this disease without fish to study. I'm just bringing him home.
But, tell her. Tell her I'm right.
You're both wrong. Marguerite, I can't find out how they resist the bacteria if you slaughter them all.
It ain't always they oblige in coming in alive.
He means you're being reckless.
Father, the outcome's no better if we hole up in here and don't go outside. But we have to find a middle way.
There is no compromise. Not while she's on my sea base.
Your sea base?
I'm going outside.
Bard, Torgal has disembarked the habitat.
Bart, come in. It's dangerous. Damn it, boy. I know you can hear me.
Chief, get off the radio and put on your helmet.
What?
Brace!
Well, we know what happened to them. Also, why... Wait, what's going on? Why am I not draining oxygen? Whoa! Is that a bug? Why am I not draining oxygen? Did something screw up when I picked up the PDA? I mean, I'm not complaining. Also, I need to go check on the prawn. One moment. You know, you're really a spoil sport. Oh, you piece of... Oh, get out of here. Of course, yeah, there's only so much you can actually do to this thing. The thing's a tank. There we go. Now, hopefully, you'll actually leave us alone for a while and we can get back inside. Yeah, I'm just not losing any air. Even when I leave the hab. I mean, if this lasts for the rest of the session, I'll be happened? I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of against the spirit of the game.
Margaret, Maida has boarded the habitat.
What are you so happy about, Maida?
Say, kid, I brought you something.
Is that a Leviathan outside?
Towed it home on the back of the sub.
You go!
Killed that thing?
It's still breathing. I was about to finish the job, but I can stay and chat if you'd like. No? Then make yourself useful and pass me that hardened blade.
Are you out of your mind? You brought that thing here? What if it's not as dead as it looks? What if others come?
You prefer it got curious and came of its own accord, or got messed up and dragged here?
When we get off this planet, I am going to drag you through every court in the damn Federation.
Except that's entry 8, and the one we listened to before was entry 9. So I guess another one did get curious. Never mind, we found one. And we found the orange tablet. Yes. Okay, well, that answers that question. You know, I'm kind of going back and forth between being disappointed that I didn't find these things in probably the intended order, but I'm realizing that it just tells the story differently if you get them out of order. I'm going to collect a bit of uranite while we're here, because our vacation house is most definitely going to be nuclear powered, no question about it. I'm never going back to those bioreactors. Let's see if we can jump our way out of here. Yep. I definitely do feel the degree to which the jump jets improve our jumping game. It's weird because it doesn't seem too dramatic at first, but when you have to reach those heights, it makes all the difference in the world. Alright, let's get up here and charge at this base that is most certainly going to be dead. But as long as our assets are up on the surface, we'll be okay. By the way, funny how about 300 meters down is considered basically the surface at this point. Yep. You're a creature egg. Okay, I'm going to start grabbing more of those because I'm going to start a little aquarium in my vacation house for catch and release. I mean, this population has been devastated. We may as well start a repopulation program, right? Actually, as it happens, right down here is where we can use that orange tablet. Now, they must have found it somewhere in the vicinity and just never figured out how to use it, or never found this spot in particular. I was right, I had speculated that maybe they had been down to the Lost River. I mean, there's probably documents confirming it, but whatever, just let me be excited. I'm also pretty confident that I could have made this on non-glitched air. Maybe it has something to do with what I did in the Sea Emperor chamber, but who cares? We just found something cool. Oh, this actually isn't behind air. Alien bone specimen. Mixed Leviathan fossils. These fossils likely came from the ancient ancestors of the Leviathans which inhabit the planet today. The relative size and delicacy of the bones suggests they formed part of the ear canal, or some other complex internal structure. Alien flora specimen case. Local plants being held in stasis. The aliens evidently sought an extensive knowledge of the planet's ecosystem, which would have been necessary to support any live specimen research. Planet's ecosystem, sorry. And another of you. Oh, we can... Like, imagine if these had been paced out throughout the series. Well, we're carrying 2 of the little guys now out of 5. At least that means they can have a brother or sister. Fauna reproductive data. Extensive alien research data on the local fauna, with a special focus on their reproductive methods. Core conclusions have been synthesized. The aliens discovered the life forms on the planet have just one sex. They observed local organisms engaging in asexual reproduction. All healthy individuals tested were capable of egg-laying. Eggs usually require genetic material from another of the species. In rare case, only one parent was required, with evolutionary mutation introduced by the effects of the environment itself. Research appears to have been focused around hatching conditions and genetic variations between parent and child. And a whole bunch of ion cubes, which don't mind if I do. Back at the cave base once more, which was probably actually our most functional. And where we're going to retrieve some of our materials before bringing every vehicle back up. So what do we got? We've got rubies, copper, gold. This place has got it all. The challenge now is that we've got to take Percy, get her into the Cyclops, and then bring Sealab back out of this chamber that I honestly never should have brought it into in the first place. I should have brought it up here and used that as a jumping off point for the prawn. But as it stands, we've got a recovery mission on our hands. Up we go. We've never really used the CMOS with the Cyclops, have we? Now let's use these cameras and see the best way to do this. I think... yeah, we've got some room above us, but we cannot work from this view. So that's going to be the thing. We've got to go straight through the middle of the chamber. That's the only place there's room. Just kind of ignore your attacks for the most part. Actually, maybe if we move around to the right. There's the base. Moving around that edge of the chamber may be the way to do this. Okay, so let's power ourselves on. Or actually, the engine wasn't on. Maybe we can? We absolutely can. Okay, cool. Cool. I mean, it's not as immersive, but in a space like this, in tight quarters, it's kind of necessary. Definitely doable, though. If we just... please leave me alone. I mean, I'm a nice guy. I get you're trying to grow. Okay, game, just do that to me. Alright, so change of plans. We are going through the center because the giant thing trying to eat us so they can grow into an even bigger thing is actually less of a menace than Poppin'. Now, for the first time in a long time, we're heading out of the Lost River. Not to explore what's deep out of necessity, but to go back to where it's sunny because we want to. Which is quite a far cry from being stranded on that raft, having no idea what to do next, and no idea where our next meal is going to come from. And we've killed comparatively few fish in this game. I mean, I've eaten a handful out of necessity. I've run over entire generations. Wow, this is actually really not a hospitable biome for this type of maneuvering. And it's at this point that I'm realizing, how are we actually gonna get it out of here? Is there a large exit somewhere? There might be near the back. And knowing that these things are filled with gas, I wonder if they don't actually function as like sea mines. Yes, I think that's going to be sky and not cave ceiling. Excellent. Now, I know that our stop is the island base, but come on, what are we doing if we don't surface? What is that out there? I don't know if you guys will be able to see that after compression, but it's one of you on the open ocean. You know what? I think we're going to expedite that surfacing process. And hope this thing won't head to the shallows. Come on, let's spin this thing around. This thing hasn't surfaced since it was created. Oh, there's the island. If only the Torgals were still here. Imagine how they would have felt seeing this thing breach the surface of the water from their little Robinson Crusoe space. Did not expect to be able to breach like a dolphin in this thing. But we do have to go grab that vehicle bay, so that's a happy coincidence. Oh, we appear to be leaking. From where, I don't know, since the top of this thing is above water now. Let's just make the necessary repairs and go about our day. Ah, this is so cool. I mean, we're fulfilling all my Hunt for Red October fantasies in the meantime. Surfacing from the depths, walking along the wings of this craft. And just kind of enjoying the sunlight for what it is. Just look at this. I mean, in every little way, this is just such a beautiful game to look at, such a comfy game. I mean, some of you have actually described this as a horror game. It's got scary elements. It certainly does. In fact, it's probably the only game to tackle like deep-sea horror in this fashion, in such an open-ended fashion. The only other thing I can think of would be something really high concept like Iron Lung. But this is just so... It really wants you to revel in every part of the experience, and it's all about those contrasts. But we're gonna come down to the island outpost, grab the prawn, charge Liberty, or wait, who's back there? I think it's Percy. And then we'll start gathering materials for our base. I mean, I'm starting to think that to really do a big base, you need the prawn, because it's the thing most capable of getting bulk materials. Now, for our vacation house, we've got to choose a location that is scenic and central, I think. Something far away from everything else, which has always been the goal with our outposts. But something, I don't know, that has easy access to everywhere. Somewhere where, if we have a Seamoth there, we can always go to wherever we want in a hurry. The cannon outpost has access to all those portals, so that actually makes it much less fringe than it was when we started all this. But we also want someplace scenic, you know? Someplace pretty. And I'm thinking then, one of the better places to try that would probably be the area with the red seaweed. I mean, if I am to have a vacation spot, we want someplace where we can observe the giant fauna. We want someplace with blue water. And we want it to be someplace deep enough that it gets really dark at night. And having a shipwreck in view would be pretty good for property values as well, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think around here, somewhere on this seabed. But what else? Having an overlook would be nice. In fact, it's kind of necessary if we want to do like a moon pool. Maybe start over here on this cliff? Ooh, or maybe even on one of these spires. That could be neat. I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made. Deep trenches beneath us, clear sky above, and all kinds of cool creatures all around. Plus, we can always branch off. I do want this to be a fairly big base. And if we don't like this one, we can always build another right beside it. Let's start here. And of course, the way you always start is with a multi-purpose room. And the cool thing is, we've already got a fabricator right here on the Cyclops. The great thing about this place is that there's fragments and quartz all around, which means we're going to have no shortage of the things we primarily need, which is going to be glass and titanium. And we've got portals to everywhere, so we don't have to worry about the more exotic materials. We can even grow some of it ourselves with the stuff we have stored. It's like the beginning of BioShock, isn't it? When you drop down and the headlights are just casting at the terrain features in front of us. Oh yeah, this'll be our home. I mean, one could see from a certain perspective these canyons beneath it as like a lazy river, right? And I guess the sun just came up, the power kicked in. I did put a solar panel down, but our first thing is going to be, I want a nuclear reactor. I'm never going back from nuclear power. We are actually really close to the jelly shroom caves as well. Yep, this is a central location. This, honestly, is probably where we should have based from the very beginning. Ooh. Oh, wow, it's Ursula's cave down here. Can I make a wish, deal with the devil here, too? Because I'd probably wish for some more gold. You know, that stuff I've been finding and having to discard for the entire game to make inventory space? Yeah, well, now I don't have enough of it, at least not here. This, I believe, is how we know we've chosen a good spot, when every time I arrive from every angle, it just looks so friggin' cool. I've gone and retrieved not only Liberty, but a whole bunch of supplies from the cannon outpost, and now we can start making this house a home. So what are we doing first? Oh wow, the capacity of these lockers is huge. Okay, well that's gonna help us out quite immensely. There we go. Everybody inside except for the stuff we need right now. There's our kingdom. We really don't have the power for this, but we need to look for lithium. So let's do a scan. We've already got something, and that goes straight into our head. I think the issue is that there's so many things that, like, seem useless at first glance that I didn't go for, and then there's so many things that seem really useful that I spent a lot of time going for that turned out to only have, like, very, very limited use. But that should be plenty of you for now. If we can find some titanium in mine, that'd be great. Let's get some quartz while we're at it as well, because we need windows. And there we go. But that's alright, because that is the last of the things we need to build the nuclear reactor. I can never find where it is for some reason. Like, interior pieces, interior modules. I feel like it should be a module. Nuclear reactors feel like modules. Anyway, let's take you out. We can't take you out. Well, that's a pickle. Yeah. Sun's coming up, but I'll tell you what's actually easier in this case. To just build the next level already. And build the reactor in there. And down here can just be like a locker room, essentially. It's always when you look down in this game that you start to see the beauty of this. I mean, it's so wonderfully vertical when you can essentially fly, isn't it? And there's so many bright colors filling the screen no matter which way you look. Just a ladder here. And a nuclear reactor here, which are objects of differing complexities, I must admit. And with the rod that we already made, this place is officially up and running. Why not gift ourselves some hanging gardens while we're at it? There we go. And there we go. And we will start growing ourselves basically whatever we can think of. Those sounds are like a lullaby. I cannot wait to get a bed going in here. We've got some bulbo tree growing, we've got marble melon, all the earth delicacies. We've got our nuclear power, we've got our scanner room, which after a trip to the island outpost, we can now upgrade. It's going to help us immensely, and I think those might even actually stack. So I'll probably do that. So here we go. And I have been using the scan rooms throughout the game, but, you know, it's just, normally it's just busy work that gets cut. Now I really want to show, this is like the house building montage from Red Dead 2. Water filtration ready to go. And we now have these things in more bases than we don't. There we are. And hull strength still holding strong. Now I know what you're thinking. What kind of self-respecting two-story base is complete without a third and fourth story? And I know, I hear you, and I'm on it, trust me. So we're gonna put these in, and believe me, there is a reason why I'm doing this. Of course, we are gonna have to keep in mind our hull strength throughout all of this. But there we go. Hello, what are you? What are you? Are you? Oh, you're scannable! You're a tiny little shrimp thing, but you glow in the dark. Wait, I saw it. Rock grub. A small... Ooh, you've got like a lamprey mouth. A small luminescent scavenger, roughly thumb-sized. This creature may be a distant relative of the sand shark, sharing that species' unusual limbs, segmented exoskeleton, and burrowing behavior. Its circular set of teeth is designed to tear up clumps of coral and seagrass caught on the rocks. 5 legs, 2 arms, and a large flipper allow the rock grub to cling to and walk across rock faces in search of food, and swiftly swim to safety when under attack. Glowing green in the dark would seem like a poor survival strategy, but this adaptation may be a mating behavior or other specialized process, engaged in by only a fraction of the total population at any one time. Or perhaps being eaten is simply part of the rock grub's life cycle, an unfortunate reality of some creatures. But not mine, at least thus far. Let's just stick a battery charger on the wall over here. I cannot believe I haven't made one of these things for us sooner. And now I've just used this quartz to make a whole bunch of glass, and I have a reason. Oh, we're gonna have to get more ladder stuff. So now we've got ladders going up and up to the top floor, and what we are going to use all this glass for is to build our aquarium. We've been collecting eggs for the entire game. We've got a fair few, including
Aquariums.
the two newest ones of interest.
Opportunity to study alien fauna up close. Select carefully which life forms you bring on board. They may also be studying you.
Yeah, it's the old teacher phrase. But now you can see, if we look up there, we can actually see down into the floor, and this is something I remember being quite amazed by when I discovered this in my old playthrough, one of my few memories. It can be a multi-level tank. How friggin' cool is that? And I don't know how many times we can repeat this, but it's certainly impressive. I cannot wait to start putting guys in here. We can build a hatch on the tank itself to enable us to get in. And to start us off, why don't we just leave a couple of use guys? Oh, in the meantime, I don't have enough glass to do this fully all around, and I sort of doubt the integrity of the hull, but why don't we give you some ability to see the outside world? It'll be you traveling out there someday, so you might as well, right? What's wrong with this camera? Why is it behaving in such a way? What is that? Wait, 800 meters? What? Oh! I think it's picking up, I hadn't realized we can actually cycle through all of them. So if we go like this... There you go. Okay, that would explain that. Huh, I had no idea we could access them all from one central location. I had never even tried. We can actually use these creepvine seed clusters as natural lighting. It's a little late, but we had other priorities. We're going to start growing this stuff all around the base. Because for as cool as floodlights are, you know me, I prefer the atmospherics. Look at this. Our tower on the mountain. And down here, we don't even need stairs. Hey, let's check up on our little guppies. Oh, they're still in their eggs, although they look like they're already pretty playful. Every base needs a moon pool, and this is no exception. Boom, nuclear power charging for all of our vehicles. And it seems like this time the hull is holding quite well. Oh, this is coming together so nicely, and with all these materials, with the prawn, with the scanner, all of it's happening more quickly than ever. One thing I don't like is this. This! What do we do about this? I'm thinking we might actually have to put this right over, actually where the planter is, but don't worry, I have a plan for where we're gonna grow our food. See, something I've been really curious about, like really curious about for this entire game, is just what is the deal with the large room. Oh yeah, like a glove, that's perfect. There we go. And -4 hull strength, which is quite a bit for a single room. And we deconstruct the hatch, and we'll just like stick that on here somewhere. So we go like that. I knew there would be a port for it. I just love how like easy and modular this all is. It's so much fun. And there we have it. Our own space to do whatever we please, which in this case is probably going to be a whole lot of farming. Now we are just going to move the scanner room up a level so that we have room to place the ladder. There we are. You hatched! One of you or both of you? Hang on, wait. You're in here, yes! Oh, we have little friends! Oh, let's scan you. I believe this is the only way to get these things. I think they do not spawn in the wild. Cuttlefish. Look at them, they're even smiling to get their picture taken by the scanner. A small, gray-colored herbivore. the cuttlefish displays high levels of intelligence, curiosity, and attachment. Aww. Strangely, this species has not been encountered in the wild, and the scanned specimen had to be artificially hatched within an alien containment unit. In the absence of wild specimens, little can be known for certain about the cuttlefish's life cycle. It's possible that environmental conditions have changed, forcing the species to the edge of extinction and leaving its eggs in permanent stasis. It's also possible the cuttlefish has been genetically altered or even imported to 4546b from another world. We do know that the cuttlefish is a herbivore which displays highly social behavior in its interspecies interactions, as was observed in earth dolphins before their extinction. This creature seems to understand the concept of other minds, the prime indicator of true sentience, and attempts to communicate with a series of chirps and chirrups. Evidence suggests the cuttlefish is capable of understanding and following simple commands, in addition to assessing the emotional state of individuals around it and responding in kind. Emotional connection between living creatures is an essential component of psychological health. They want you as emotional support animals. I'll tell you what, if we put away our this thing, pick you up, and put you in that slot, we can only drop you. There we go. We really need to drink something.
Calorie intake recommended.
Yeah, we're not worried about that right now. We're just gonna have bulbo trees growing in this half of the room. And over here, marble melons. There's a creature egg here. We're gonna start hatching these things left and right to try and figure out what they actually are. And I was doing some reading. Apparently it spawns mini ones, and they will not actually start trying to kill each other inside the tank. Otherwise, I would not be willing to take such risks when it comes to the little guys who've already got there. We can now make our very first ion power cell. And the plan is to eventually get a whole bunch of these things so they can power the Cyclops, since that's the thing that really needs it. But for now, let's see if we can get this to power Liberty. Now, if we switch out you for you, 1,000 power. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. And it's at this time that I'm just kind of finishing up and making sure that there's beacons at each of these places. I believe this is close to the island outpost. Whatever, we'll just call you Arch. I don't know what kind of biome this is. Except, you know, dark. There's another strange egg for our collection. Take you. Yeah, I've kind of determined, after a quick pit stop, that the closest thing we're going to get to our place is going to be the mushroom portal, which isn't super far. I'm not too worried about that, although, of course, I was always hoping for something closer. At this rate, this is all going to end up being like a big marathon episode of all the stuff like I would have done if I had known more throughout the series. Here we go. We're starting to get that glow light in there from the seed clusters, exactly what I was hoping for. Now that egg is still waiting to hatch, and I've got something to keep you motivated. Wait, can I actually place this somewhere? There we go. Just let that keep you company at night. And I'm realizing now I'm gonna have to enact my plan of planting stuff outside the windows for this to be atmospheric. Oh, I can't wait to see what this looks like at night. But let's not worry about that right now. You two together. Okay, let's take bets on what you're gonna be. I'm not sure about you. I think you are going to be either a bone shark or the sand ones. Meanwhile, we can give this room some much needed spice by giving it a big old glass dome. Now, the PDA may advise against this, but what good is a sea base if you don't turn 90% of it into glass? God, this game is cool. And at some times of day, you can even see the reefbacks passing over. Oops, it says sand shark egg discovered. Does that mean that you've hatched? And once again, I'm taking it on faith that you won't actually be a threat to the others, but look at that, we've got a tiny little baby one. Oh, they're so adorable, and yet still so ugly. But it doesn't seem to be attacking our little friends. Now I just gotta figure out what the other is. Now, there is something I would like to do. And it's kinda dumb, but it's also something I've been thinking about since we got the prawn. And I haven't really had an opportunity to breathe until now. And so that quest is going to take us, well, I guess it almost doesn't matter which direction. Now that we're over here around the second island, I kinda want to take the prawn and just plunge off that cliff into the abyss. I think that would be a pretty funny thing to do. Yep. Oh boy, here we go. Speaking of the abyss, I'm once again gonna draw the comparisons to Ed Harris in that movie. Terrifying scene, really. Down, down, down we go. Until finally hitting the floor. A whole bunch of urinite. And now I just gotta find the edge. Deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper. Yep, jumping straight over. Do you see? Do you see why I was so terrified of this before? Let's just land here. Wait, if I stand on you, will you count as fast replenishing? You will. Not that it much matters. I have not saved the whole journey over here because I do not expect this to be survivable. This is the edge, the hard edge. Wait, I thought I had this already. Yeah, I thought I already got that, but whatever. Maybe I reloaded a save or something. In any case, we are far deeper than we were able to go before. But there's still another 1,000 meters we can go before we have problems. Now it really is like the abyss. Look at how fast we're actually falling. I am hearing very angry things. We are past 1 kilometer in depth. Absolutely no light down here, and I don't think we're supposed to be here. Oh, look, it's like we're dangling off of the underside of the map. Go away, Ghost Leviathan. Okay, we should have figured you'd come for us. Is it just me, or are you a darker blue hue than everything else? We can actually see the neon skeleton inside you. Continue falling. There's truly nothing around anymore. Oh my god. Every once in a while, I'm just slowing myself down in the off chance that there is something down here. Keep in mind, we are still only just reaching the same depths as the containment unit. Actually, if we did have a marker there, do you think we'd be able to reach the outside of that point from down here if we, like, clung to the bottom using our grapple arm? In any case, we are fast, approaching the true bottom of this. And crush. This is, like, a diver's worst nightmare, isn't it? But maybe we can hit 2 kilometers? Yes, we are rocketing past this game's limits. It may be an ill-fated expedition, but quite an exciting one nevertheless. Can we maybe hit 3 kilometers? I feel like James Cameron. No budget too steep, no ocean too deep. 2,900. Ah, this thing is so tough, it's actually taking a long time to crush. If we hit 3,400, we have rocketed past double the so-called maximum depth. And we could go even further if this had been at full repair beforehand, if that thing hadn't attacked us. Oh my. Oh, even more what happens if we get out right before Crush and start swimming downwards in the Sea Glide? You know, I really don't like having time to reflect in a moment like this. At this point, there is truly no chance of recovery. 4,500. We're starting to see the sparks. This thing is just about finished. Actually, wait, I have an idea. It's a dumb idea. But if we could get ourselves perhaps gaining some altitude and get out and quickly switch to the repair tool, get back in, get us gaining altitude again with those jump jets, get out. Could we potentially do this indefinitely? I mean, eventually we'd run out of battery, but we can give ourselves more time. Actually, you don't seem to be falling at all anymore. Have we hit some kind of, like, theoretical bottom? There we go, 100%. Scientists hate him. Survive crush depths with this one simple trick. Now rocketing down past 5,000 meters. I guess we really weren't at the bottom. I don't know why it wasn't falling anymore. This is ridiculous. I really have to be careful to not accidentally save. Whoop. What? What? What just... I was tabbed out Googling the deepest humans have gone. I wanted to see if I could surpass it, but, okay, this happened. Kinda neat, actually. We just broke the world. And not so far from our life pod. Well, I suppose we had to do some Voices of the Void shenanigans before this was over. And you will be labeled forever as a sand shark egg now. Thank you, I couldn't come out of this with no injury, could I? Spadefish egg discovered. Oh, the egg we found was spadefish. Alright, well, not exactly rare, but starting a breeding program can certainly help. The prawn is just the gift that keeps on giving. We had 4 times crush depth and ultimately survived. I have no idea why they even allow a teleport back to the top, but I'm kind of glad they do. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's just because they know that there has to be a limit somewhere, but they kind of want people to try it. They know people will try it. The unfortunate problem of surviving is that now we have to turn around and go back. Just like waking up in the morning and having to go to work. Also, if there seems to be a sudden shift in quality partway through this video, it's because I accidentally recorded the first couple hours in 4K. This was a mistake. It ended up being like 250 plus gigs, and it took absolutely forever to remux, so that was an oopsie. There's our lovely base, and oh, wait, this is actually what I was hoping for when I built that dome. Hang on, let me down. Out through here, we don't want to miss this. Head over to the large room. And yep.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
We can actually watch the reefbacks pass over. How cool is this? This is what I love about this game, being able to just get up close and personal with these beasts and like see all the little intricacies. The danger, the horror is fun, but it never takes away from just how mesmerizing the rest of it is. Aside from the actual mesmers, which are little jerks. Actually, I've never seen what happens if we don't pry our eyes away. Looking just as cool at night, I see. Ooh, let's see what the central stack looks like now that we've got the seed clusters glowing within. I meant to say growing, but glowing works just as well. Okay, I think we need to get the rest of these windows in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful. Maybe horrible for hull integrity, but now we have a place worthy of, like, I don't know, Star Wars or something. Ah, this game is so cool and entirely lit from within. I wonder if there's a way to actually, like, turn off your base lights without losing power. Oh, which reminds me, we have to go get something from storage. I'd forgotten we're carrying another egg. Actually, I believe it's a creature egg that we've been carrying for pretty much the entire game. I love this minimal UI just because I've forgotten to turn it back on, but the game is much prettier this way. Let's see what we can do with this. You get in there. Hey guys, I brought you another friend, and I think you are going to be a catch and release. There we go. Now what happens if we place you into an inventory slot? Oh, we can't, sadly. I just kind of wanted the image of holding one squirming in my hand. Actually, I've just realized the description for this says, Stealthy Predator, raised in containment. I wonder if that means it'll maybe be docile towards me? Hang on, let's bring you down here. I don't feel bad releasing you here, because this is your natural habitat. There we go. Will you ignore me? You're making angry gestures. I don't know if you're actually attacking me. You're certainly not friendly to that spadefish, which means it's probably good we got you out of there with the other one. But you seem capable of surviving on your own, which was my chief concern. See, we're already bringing back life on this planet. We actually do have all we need now to build the fabled Neptune launch platform. And although this is what we've been working for the entire game, I'd like to keep it as my headcanon that we ain't leaving. Both because we actually have come to like it here, and also because we know what would happen if Altera got its hands on this place. Oh, hey, there's the creature egg we found in the beginning. I was just coming back to the life pod to kind of pick up the stash of stalker teeth that we had here. Alright, now let's build that platform. Oh wow, that's huge. Although KSP teaches us, I suppose it would have to be to escape an atmosphere probably at least as dense as Earth's. I'm not sure if this planet is supposed to be, like, similar in size or not, but either way, it ain't gonna be easy. Oh, imagine how much water that's gonna displace. That would knock us right off of here as soon as it fell. But thankfully, they weren't looking to melt CPUs when they made this. Okay, well, let's climb on top of our personal aircraft carrier then, just checking down to make sure we're not actually just blocking our own view. Here we go. Man, if we could build a platform this big on the surface, we might as well have built a floating base, but I'm not complaining. We are going to pop a save right here. Now, what do we need? Neptune gantry. Oh, we need to build this thing in stages. Plasteel ingot, copper wire, lubricant. Well, thankfully, much of what we need, we're actually either storing or growing right here. So for once, this won't be a huge scavenger hunt. And from here, we can actually appreciate the sunset. Both on today and this series. We are, of course, going to need a bedroom, and I'm thinking that instead of placing that in here, right after we get some lithium, we're gonna put it at the final stage in our tower. That way, the center of the room will be looking straight down onto our aquarium, and the rest looking out over this whole expanse we call home now. You know what's funny is that with the jump jet, I feel like the prawn is almost as fast as the sea moth. Coming down into the Mushroom Kingdom, actually falling down, things appearing all around me. This is what I was talking about. I love it when different vehicles mean a different experience in an area. Here we go. Watch out, Spadefish. I want to Goomba stomp you. Which would actually be pretty appropriate for the Mushroom Kingdom, if I do say so. Oh, never mind, we don't even have to go through the portal. There's some lithium right here. Well, that was convenient. Have any of our buddies hatched yet? Oh, we got a rabbit ray! Oh, that is so cool. But what was I honestly don't even remember what I was doing. Oh, right, I was getting lithium so that we can reinforce this place. And so that we can build some of the stuff we need to build the rocket. So we pretty much don't have to worry about lithium down here because we know we're not building anything in these corners. Actually, unless you're doing windows, you can always build in the corners. That's what we've learned. In any case, we can now build our observatory. And life is starting to look a lot cooler around here. I'm so happy with how this is coming out. More windows, because I live in spite of the PDA. And look, now we've even got a security window, so we can watch people coming and going. And there is our view. And it is our view, literally not a single person to ruin it on this entire planet. Again, what's the bad thing about being shipwrecked here? Oh, wow, hang on. Pretty sure I just realized what you are. If your movements are anything to go by, are you perhaps gonna end up becoming one of those crab squids? I'm pretty sure I just saw the thing up top say Crashfish egg discovered. Please do not behave this way inside the thing. Wait. Oh no, that must have been the little red one that was there. Yeah, there you are. The very first egg we discovered in the game. You might be another catch and release, although do we really want one of these things swimming around the base? Answer, probably better than inside the base. We now have the means to build the gantry. We've even got some rock and roll music for this. Ooh. I wonder if we'll actually be able to climb this thing on our own. Thanks, fellas. I'll take it from here. Ooh, it's an elevator. And it's quite a long ride. Yep, never mind. We're picking up the pace. But we do not actually have anywhere to go right now. It could function as the world's coolest high dive if we could rotate it. But I don't think that's really what it's for. Alright, in good time. I mean, we're going to be diving in the opposite direction when this thing takes off, right? The next step is going to be the boosters, which is going to require nickel aerogel, yeah. We're going to have to go down to get more of that, but that's okay because the prawn can very easily reach the arch. It's so weird to be able to go pretty much wherever I want at will at this point. But I suppose that's what we spent the entire game working towards. Okay, we just gotta keep an eye out for nickel now. And I'm taking some kyanite too, just in case. Hello again, K-Base. Long time no see. We could certainly use you to charge up our prawn a bit. And we'll probably end up leaving through the archway. I was looking for, like, materials to mine with the arm, but as it turns out, we kind of got all we need just from the ocean floor. But that's the benefit of having all these pit stops everywhere. Everything feels like less of a journey and like, well, more of a jaunt between points. There we go. All the aerogel we need. Prawn. Your arm's looking a little funky there. Everything still seems to work just fine, but it definitely seems like something that maybe warrants a support ticket. Oh, there you go. You fixed yourself eventually, although not assuaging my concerns. You have no idea how unnerving it is to be coming through this chamber. And as huge as it is, it's basically just a room. And not seeing that huge ghost leviathan that gave us so many problems in the Cyclops. I'm loving this thing more and more every time I see it, which I suppose is a really good sign. Now, can we see what hatched? It should have by now. Well, we got a big guy in there who seems to be playing nice. You still have not hatched. Maybe this tank isn't hospitable to you? I do wonder if there are, like, different conditions that might need to be met. Imagine a rescue ship finally getting here after a certain length of time and realizing we've got it made. Like, they're expecting us to be so grateful, and instead I'm just inviting them to buy tickets to my resort. There we go. It really is like playing Kerbal Space Program. Oh my, it is so insane to see, like, such huge things being constructed right in front of us. And knowing we're not even done yet. But we are nearing our completion here. And, man, what a journey it's been. Feels like we only just started. And I think it's because, like, I'm only just starting to get the hang of this. And I know I keep talking about this, but I really do think I'm going to put, like, a lot more hours into this just on my own time, just to see how quickly I can do these things. I'm not going to have time to record it for the series, but some of you guys told me that it is actually possible to save Sunbeam. The way we do that is by simply not answering the radio messages that actually trigger the timers, and if we were to cure ourselves and turn off the gun before they get here, what'll happen is they'll just say, yeah, there's a huge debris field and we can't land. But you can save them. Fuel reserve, crystalline sulfur, we've got that, we've got all this stuff, and we need ion power cells. Oh, I was correct, and you have hatched. You know, I'm actually kind of afraid to release you here. I mean, first of all, because of the potentially devastating effects on the ecosystem, and not to mention that gel membrane that gives up your head, given that you're well out of your depth, literally. So just what does happen if we build a vending machine? Can we actually, like, get food from here? There we are. Huh, we can! It isn't really very good for you, but you know what? I suppose that makes sense. I mean, these things never were very good for you, but they are tasty. It's good for morale, is what I'm saying. Now, if we get all the way upstairs, we can build ourselves a... Where do we want to put the bed? I mean, right here on the side seems as good a place as any. Look at that fish at our feet. There we go. But of course, we're going to want a window at our back. Look at this. I mean, I don't know how many different ways you can look out a window. Every time I've built glass on this place, I've been like, just look at our kingdom, but just look at our kingdom. Not to mention our smaller kingdom down below. This is not a natural combination of guys, but hey, between all of them we have the cast of a children's show. You know, I'm really not quite sure how Altera blueprints came to include alien power sources, but I guess it's better than what we would have had. There we go. And now I'm thinking either that's the end or maybe one more stage on top of that. We may need a command pod. At least if my continuing comparisons to KSP are anything to go by. Guys, I am still salty about KSP 2 and Colonies. I'm so glad I didn't buy it. And now we just need the cockpit. It does include a Cyclops shield generator, but other than that, it's pretty easy. How did I get Creepvine from that? I'm not sure how that came about. By my approximation, my bed should be right about here. There we go. And I would say that's looking pretty good. God, I love this thing. God, I kind of wish I'd had this thing the entire time. Of course, back in the beginning, you have to remember I would not have had the means to build all this so quickly. Am I just running into a bug now where I only get Creepvine from these Bulbo trees? That is absolutely bizarre. Okay, well, it's just as well. I have everything I need, and we can finish this now. I just gotta make this last upgrade. All we have to do now is use the upgrade console to build the Cyclops shield generator. And that's it. That's all we need to get out of here. After all this time, all this way, we've got to leave what we've built. If you're not a loser who can't manipulate saves, of course. I'm going to be making a backup because I'm not sure if you get to keep this afterwards. I would assume you do. And like I said, I'm only doing this so I can see what happens. My headcanon is I'm staying. There we go. A spaceship of our very own. Will it take us back? Who knows? Will we survive here? Yes. So, you know, just weigh those options together and you tell me what's better. But it is nevertheless awe-inspiring, standing in its shadow. The sun is setting though, and, well, what would be the point of this base if we didn't spend at least one night sleeping in it?
Neptune 1 rocket online.
And there's steam emanating from it, so you know it's gotta be great. This game is so cool in so many ways. I mean, it's about eye candy, exploration, science, research, horror. And it's doing all of it in a way that is not only appealing to look at, but it's doing so in a way that's so accessible, you know? Like, this very easily could have leaned too hard in one direction, and yet, for an indie game, or at least at the time of its development, it's actually managing to tackle so many different ideas all at once, and doing so in a way that blends them together so seamlessly. I mean, if I were making this, it would probably be like all horror game, but that's not necessarily the best thing for it. I have to say, I'd be very interested to see this concept done as just a full-on horror game in an open world, but that's not what made this game popular in the end. And I'm glad it did get popular because a game like this, essentially my childhood dream, it deserved success. And even in the midst of all that, it managed to tell both larger and smaller stories. Stories about ancient civilizations, apocalypses, saving ancient beings, saving a planet, saving species, and about the lives of the people who have been here before us. I suppose when you look at it that way, you could even say that on top of everything, this has elements of underwater urbex, which is not something you get to hear about too often, I must say. But if we're gonna sleep under the stars one more time, we might as well be able to see them, right? So let's build this glass dome and hope we can handle it. There we go. Okay, we had plenty. Well, there it is, our final habitat. and one that I'm certainly quite proud of. I'm sure we could do even more. I didn't even get the chance to do what I really wanted, which was to build like all kinds of ledges around these windows so that there would be creepvine growing up blocking them in some areas, and then it would only be lit from the seeds on the inside. But I suppose that's a bit of opulence we simply don't have time for. See, the problem that I had with this series is that your priorities are different when you're recording. I was sitting down saying, okay, I have like 2.5 hours to record each session, and each one needs to produce a video to stay on schedule. And so it wasn't until episode 8 that I really sat down and said, okay, I'm just gonna, however long it takes, I've got the day off, I'm just gonna build everything I need. And from episode 8 onward, the series has absolutely rocketed forward. What this game wanted me to do was really do that from the beginning, to build out my infrastructure and then take a more leisurely pace like we've done in this episode. But you know what? Live and learn. All it means is that maybe if we decide to do Below Zero or Subnautica 2 when that comes out, we'll have a little bit more of a working knowledge going in. Watch them just change everything on me. Since we do have some time to kill until the end of the day, I figure it's probably only right... Oh, wait. I was going to say it's only right to release these guys, but we can actually scan them independently. Hang on. Where were we? Oh, right! No, not that we can scan them independently. A crashfish is something we never would have had the opportunity to scan. Alright, let's grab that. A crashfish. This unusual species has developed an emergency defense mechanism based on mutually assured destruction. The forward-mounted eye enables the creature to identify and track potential predators. The sulfur plant has evolved to feed on sulfuric compounds secreted by the crashfish, which makes it nest within its leaves. Stronger, more protected plants provide superior nesting grounds, which in turn provide the plant with more nutrients from larger crashfish. Concentrations of sulfur build up in the organism over time. If the crashfish collides with something at sufficient speed, the spikes on its torso are impacted, triggering an explosive chemical reaction. The stasis rifle could have stopped you. In fact, you actually recommend pre-firing. This game is actually magic sometimes, you know that? SeaWorld has got nothing on this. Now, as I was saying, it only seems right to release the creatures in our aquarium before leaving. And so, since I can't be asked to actually bring them back to their respective biomes, I'm thinking we just release them and see what happens. So, Rabbit Ray, I know for a fact that you're good here. Spadefish, I guess I didn't take you out yet. Crashfish, I know you're probably good down in these here caves. Crab Squid, I'm a little less optimistic about your chances. Well, I say less optimistic about your chances, I mean your chances of not devastating the environment. There we go! You are a real fish out of water, huh? Look at you hopping along the seafloor. What have I done? Actually, wait, I did have the spadefish, she's just small. There you go. You guys be free. These aren't just windows onto the great beyond. They're windows into my soul. Reflections aside, though, our work is completed, and in the morning we will take our leave. I did end up reading that the game does not save when you launch, so we will be able to come back to this. But for now, I'm ready to end this and move on to the next thing. Rise and shine. And rise and shine to our little cuttlefish as well, who, you know, I haven't given an official name, and I know it's overused in these series, but I can't help but think of them as Liberty and Percy. I mean, why is it that I always end up with two little buddies buzzing around me every time I build a base in a game? Come on, yous. Of course, I know we can't take them with us, but maybe they'll be enough to actually repopulate themselves. In real life that would not be sufficient, but hey, it's this game, and these populations are extremely hardy, if nothing else. I mean, how long have they been eggs for? Oh, what a momentous occasion. And I know, I'm just waiting to see what happens if I try to leave with them. Like the sun breaking from behind that moon. Yeah. This has been a very screenshot-heavy game for me. Oh. It's actually got a whole interior. Have we got to start these modules one by one? Unfortunately, we don't have a tank we can leave you in. Tell you what, let's just have a quick look around and we'll drop you off. There's our power source, I suppose. And here's our ride home. I should have known that with all the other blueprints we've utilized, that this too would be as, I guess, outward viewing friendly as everything else. Ooh, and here we can prepare our time capsule. Oh, I wonder what we should leave behind. A curious species hatched from an egg in alien containment. Okay, well, you won't survive in our pocket. We've got to let you go. We can play with each of them. Where'd they get off? Where'd the other one get off to? Where'd you go? There you go. We can do little tricks. Oh, that is so adorable. I love them. Oh, this is amazing. But unfortunately, I wish we could have done this in the tank, but sadly, I've got to say goodbye. Aww. Oh, that little pet. Oh my god. I literally had you guys for an episode, and I love them so much. But just like us, they've got to make their own journey, and if we can do it, they can too. The scan told us how intelligent they are, and I believe in the little guys. Huh. I hadn't realized we could actually use this console to customize our rocket. Well, if we're going with a space theme, then what would be a better name than USS Dr. Come on. Than USS Dr. Kell. After the great scientist who brought us into this spacefaring world. Or at least that's what I like to think. And it's gotta be cyan blue, just like everything else we've done here, with a nice orange Liberty stripe. I think that looks pretty nice. We've spent almost an entire day just getting our bearings and saying farewell, but I think it's finally time. So let's take that elevator up. Take one last look around at our surroundings. Look, the islands are actually hiding in cloaks of fog. LOD, or alien defense mechanism. But here it is waiting for us. Oh, okay, jerk. God. And where we're going, we won't need food. Auxiliary power unit.
Auxiliary power unit online.
Even you've got your own voice. Communications array.
Communications systems array active.
Hydraulics.
Pressurizing hydraulics.
This is what it's all been leading up to. My only regret is that we don't have anyone to take with us. Although it is a one-seater, so that's kind of odd. Maybe they figured this would be crewed by nerds, and so they would fit in the lockers. Boot up primary CPU.
Primary computer systems active.
There you go. Activate life support system.
Life support systems online.
And does that mean we're ready for
All
launch?
systems are go for liftoff.
But there is still one more thing we need to do. Now, the way I see it, these time capsules are all about, I guess, imparting some messages to the newbies, or to the people who are just getting started in this world. It should be something that helps them along. So I've taken some pictures in preparation for this event. There we go, we can select that. In here, now I've thought long and hard about what I was going to put in here, and, I thought about leaving, like, tools, equipment, but I thought about what would have helped me throughout this, and I realized that throughout this whole episode, we've been doing all the big things in very short order, because of all the little things that we'd built up. The best thing you can do for somebody who's just starting out is to give them those things that were holding them back. The best thing you can do is a little push. So, let's leave some of the materials that they might otherwise struggle to get. I know there are some things that it won't let you leave, which makes sense for, like, story reasons, but stuff like this are the things that I had, like, difficulty getting in sufficient quantities in the beginning, and so maybe they'll help someone. And as for our message, well, it's gotta be something to go with the picture, right? That could be very inspirational, or it could be seen as a Scarface reference. But I think we're good now.
Time capsule ready.
So, as night comes again, man, I'd spent so much longer than I thought doing this. Let's go. Couldn't even help but add an exclamation point onto the end of this order. Here we go.
Ready to launch on your command, Captain.
Oh, I love it when you call me Captain.
Launch in 10, 9, 8,
Oh,
7,
skedaddle, guys! Oh, you have, like, bird heads. I'd never even noticed that.
2, 1. Time capsule jettisoned.
They were the first creatures we saw when we arrived, and they're the last when we leave, even in similar circumstances. Not a bad way to bookend this thing. Of course, I like all the things that came in between.
Caution, approaching orbital debris field.
And here we go again.
Orbital debris field clear. Performing gravity turn maneuver. Confirm destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase gate. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2.
Only from here do we get
One.
to see just what an immense thing we were part of.
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together.
Just like all things. So that was Subnautica. And that was incredible. I had been so reluctant to play this because I had actually finished it years ago. And by the end of it, I realized literally the only thing I remembered about this entire thing was the image of the Sea Emperor climbing up onto the platform. But even that happened differently than I remember. We have to listen to this in awkward quiet because I turned off the music, but I mean, I've already spent this whole episode singing my praises, but it was just such an incredible game and a childhood dream brought to life. and I can't wait for Subnautica 2. I've heard that Below Zero isn't as scary, so I'm not sure if I'll do it on the channel or not, but I'd certainly like to try it. I do own it, so maybe we'll save that for another time. Of course, with the benefit of being able to load saves, we don't have to worry about such concepts, because we can stay here indefinitely, and hey, if there's anything you think I should still see, I am certainly willing to revisit. But for now, we've just got to keep calm, carry on, and continue expanding our resort. I mean, even Gilligan and crew did that eventually, or so I'm told. I haven't seen most of the movies. But if you like this series, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.